everybody, Brenda Mullard from Art on Creekside. Print, Cut, and Craft is our name in the game today. I'm not using any of my printables that I'm designing for Valentine's Day, but I'm going to show you some cute little letters that kind of inspired me by finding clearance Christmas ornaments yesterday when my daughter and I were out shopping and bopping around. Hey Ginger. So I found these wonderful, cute little letters that were actually Christmas ornaments that were on clearance, 50% off. Love 50% off. But I love even more buffalo plaid. I love plaid. I love fleece. I love flannel. I love anything that is warm, fuzzy, cozy. Makes me feel good. Right now I'm in Wisconsin and it is snowing like crazy outside. Hey Tracy. And so I came across these cute little Christmas ornaments that were at Target actually for 50% off. So I got them for like $1.50, which is awesome. But it inspired me to like think of other things that I could do with these. So as much as I love buffalo plaid, and I would love a buffalo plaid tree eventually, maybe that might happen. But I found two X's that they had left. They had like Z, Q, you know, all the weird letters that people usually don't have for their names, which was awesome for me. And I thought XOXO for Valentine's Day. So I started playing around with some cardboard and I cut out some circles that were about the same size. I did have to kind of play around with the size. These are like 4.5 inch circles. That are just, it's just cardboard. I just had some scrap cardboard laying around. And of course, you know, when I get an idea, I'm like, this is awesome. I love this. How can I make this happen? Some red circles would be really, really cute with XOXO, right? So then I started hunting around because if you go, you know, if you have an idea, you have to go to Hobby Lobby or you have to go to Michael's or you have to go to some place that has craft supplies to kind of mess around and figure things out. And that's exactly what I do all the time. So I started thinking about what colors I would like to go because I couldn't, you know, I don't necessarily want them to be buffalo plaid. I could have if I really wanted to, but I kind of wanted something a little bit different. So I kind of played around with ideas off of the buffalo plaid. Now Valentine's Day, clearly red, pink, you know, black, white, all those colors that go for Valentine's Day. But what I did was I found at Walmart in the clearance section a piece of red felt. Now I wanted, these are a little bit padded on the inside, and yes, I did buy an extra one to take it apart to see how they did it, because that's what I do. Hey Tracy. And so I took it apart and realized that it was actually two sections put together. The buffalo plaid fabric was kind of folded off on the inside and around the outside. And I thought, oh, I can totally do that. So, and you can too, actually. So what I did was I measured out about 4.5 inch circles. I think I just found a container and I just traced around a circle that was about 4.5 inches and then measured about 1 inch around on each of the sides on the outside and then cut the inside. Super easy, right? Anybody can do it. Scissors, I just used the scissors to cut the cardboard, and I think I did a little bit of an X-Acto blade on the inside. If you can, it's not by any means perfect. It's got some little rough edges, but it's totally fine. So that's how I got the pattern for this, or the inside skeleton, I guess you could call it. And then when we were at Hobby Lobby, I had looked in the ribbon section because why not, right? 50% off ribbon. So I bought a bunch of different kinds of ribbon, and of course, I'm working on some Valentine's Day printables that are really fun right now. And so I, you know, of course, sticking with the buffalo plaid pattern, I went and found a bunch of different buffalo plaid colors for ribbon. Black and white, pink and white, red and white. I got some other patterns and things in the ribbon as well, but this one had like little stitches on it. So I'm like, oh, okay. So on the ornaments, what they did, and they had like a little hanger with a piece of twine and just a plain, I don't know if I have one. Oh yeah, here it is. They had this hanging off of the top, and I just cut it off, and there's no hole or anything. It's fine. It's totally fine. I could pull it out just a little bit and just trim it. But they have like little stitches around, and really all they did was they stitched around the inside of the top layer before they glued the layer on. And I'm gonna show you how to glue. I'm gonna show you how to do everything. But they just stitched on the top. I didn't want to do the stitching. I could have. I just didn't feel like it. So I came up with a better idea. I just put some trim with the ribbon around the inside and around the outside, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let me show you. This is just one side, back side, front side. It's got some little hot glue schnibbles on there. There we go. So outside, inside. Nobody sees the inside. Doesn't matter how messy it is. So I'm going to tilt this down so you can see my workspace here. And what I did was I cut a piece of felt that would fit my circle, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Sharpie marker. You could take a pencil, whatever will make a mark. And I have lots of little hot glue schnibbles here. I'm just going to draw a circle on the inside. Now, clearly not a perfect circle. And then also I'm just going to make a little bit of a line around the outside. Like so. So that way I kind of know what fabric I need and what I don't. So you can see on my fabric, I have drawn like the circles on the inside and outside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm cutting. Make sure you have a sharp scissors. There's nothing worse than trying to cut fabric with a dull scissors. And I kind of have my own scissors hidden away down in my studio because I know that my children, if they know that there's a sharp scissors somewhere, they're going to find it and they're going to use it and then they're going to dull it. So I kind of hide it. I kind of keep it hidden. Here's a trick to cutting the circle on the inside of something. I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to just give it a little snip, open it up, and then I can use my scissors to just finish cutting the inside of that circle out. Okay? So it's like a big donut, right? All right. So now, any side, the side that I did the marker, that's going to be the inside, so it's not going to show, okay? So I'm going to keep that marker side on the inside, and I'm just going to trim this just a little closer. And I'm going to show you if you have a little extra on the inside of your piece here, if it's too bulky, which you can do to take care of that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut some little slits. I'm not going all the way up to the cardboard. I'm leaving a little bit of space at the cardboard. Okay, so it's little slits because they're going to fold up, and I'm going to do the exact same thing around the outside. Careful I don't move it too much here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a hot glue gun. I am using a low temp glue gun because I enjoy the skin on my fingers. I have used the high temp glue guns, and there is a place for them. And I do have one. However, when I'm using fabric especially, I always use the low temp just because I have burned the skin right off my fingers. It has come right off. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to start on the inside of my little donut here. And I'm putting a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm going to take it, I'm going to pull this a little bit and fold it over onto that hot glue. Be careful you don't touch the hot glue so you don't burn yourself. I do find if you use the low temp, yeah, it stings a little bit, but you're not going to lose skin. So, all right, so I'm just going to kind of pull that up, kind of press it down. I'm going to go around the entire inside, but I'm not going to put a whole lot of hot glue on right away just because I don't want it to cool off too fast. Because otherwise, again, I'm going to have this big bead of plastic in there because that's what hot glue is. And I don't want that because then the inside will be really bulky. And you want them to, you know, you want them to fit pretty tight together. So again, I'm just a little bit of hot glue, pulling that center that I had trimmed. And if you know anybody that would enjoy this project, guys, please sprinkle this to your friends. Sprinkle the love to your friends so that they can see how to do this as well. I would love that so much. It also helps me know what people like to do, so. All right. Now, if we could get 5 sprinkles of love to other people, that would be great. Let's share this. We don't need to keep it to ourselves. This is too good to keep to ourselves. All right. So again, and this one I cut a little short, but I'm going to pull it real tight so that it does fold over. And I'm just going to go around the outside. There we go. Pull that, I trim that just a little short, but that's okay because I can pull it tight even though it's a little bit close. I just got to be careful not to burn my fingers. So there we go. Got our last one here, and I got a little bit of hot glue on my finger. I can feel it. Do this last little section here. Pull it tight and over. There we go. All right. Now you can look at the 2 circles that you've done because you're going to do 2 of them. And you can kind of decide, you know, which one do I like a little bit better, because, you know, sometimes you might have a little section popping through, or it's not totally perfect, or it's not going to be because, you know, you're using your hands and you're not a machine. But I see a couple little spots that I might have cut just a little bit too far, but that's okay. It doesn't really show. Nobody's really going to see that, quite honestly. But I'm going to decide, I think I'm going to use this side as my top piece, and I'm going to fit them together. Hey, Lori. I'm going to fit them together so that I can glue them so that they're tight, okay? Now, all will be forgiven once I add my ribbon around the inside and around the outside. And if you have little sections, now I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, I can trim it here or trim it there. I can pull some of the hot glue off. If you get a little bit of hot glue on your fleece, it's not really that big of a deal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some hot glue around the inside here. And I'm going to be pretty generous with it. And I'm gonna sandwich these two together. I'm gonna try to move them so that they are as close to one another as possible. Now when you're cutting, you want to try to get them really, 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 really close to being the same. So that way there's not a whole lot of space. And I'm kind of squishing and pressing them together a little bit as I'm going around my circle. And as that hot glue cools off and dries, everything will be kind of tight together. And I'm going to do the same thing kind of toward the inside as well, because I want that inside to be kind of close together too. Okay, so I have my circle, my full donut, right? Front and back. Now I had to do the circle cutting and gluing twice. It's not just once, it's twice. So I have a front and I have a back, right? Now I'm going to take my ribbon, and I had cut it off at an angle the last time I used it, just so that it doesn't fray and get all undone on me. But I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to start with just a little bit of hot glue and figure out how I want that to go in the middle. And I want to line it up so that it's kind of right in the middle, so that it covers up both of the seams of the top and bottom pieces. I don't want that to show. Okay. So I'm going to kind of just go around that inside. I'm going to put just a little bit at a time. Oops. A little bit at a time. And this is where it can get just a little bit tricky. That inside circle. But if you do a little bit at a time, it's a lot easier. Otherwise, you put too much glue down at one time and you are kind of racing against the clock. I can also, if I'm just doing a little bit at a time, I can lift it up a little bit and readjust it if I need to before it gets too cooled off. And I'm a little bit particular and a little fussy when it comes to lining everything up. So that's why it takes me a little bit longer, and I think I'm just a little bit fussy about things, but that's just how I am. Okay. Oop, oop, oop. Kind of went a little wonky on me there for a second. All right, so get the hot glue that's on my finger off because it just feels weird. Doesn't hurt, it just feels weird. I'm going to cut that off at an angle, and I'm going to glue down that last little piece that's in there. I'm going to glue that down. Again, being very careful I don't burn my fingers. There we go. Okay. Now I notice I have a little bit of hot glue out here on the edges, but I can kind of pick that off later or trim it. You just have to be careful that you don't put a hole in your fabric, that's all. And of course, if this is up on a shelf or on a mantle or on a tiered tray, tiered trays are huge right now for decorating. Nobody's gonna see it, trust me. They're not even gonna see it. Okay. So here's our inside. We got the inside all completed all the way around, and it covers up the seam beautifully. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start on the outside, and it's the exact same thing. I am just going to take my hot glue gun. I'm going to put the hot glue right on the seam, right in the middle, just going a little bit at a time, making sure that it's centered. And hoo-wee, that gets warm. That gets warm. Not warm enough to burn me, but ooh, I can feel the temperature right through that ribbon. Okay. See how I'm doing that? Right on the edge, right along that edge. Just a little bit at a time. So that if I get a little bit off course, I can always go back and lift it up just a little bit and just readjust it. All right. Now I'm going to hold off to put it right on there because I'm going to trim my ribbon. And I'm going to trim it again at an angle, because I also want it to line right up. And if it overlaps a tiny bit, it's fine. But I want those seams to go together very nicely so that you can't see where they start and stop. There we go. Get all that hot glue off my fingers. All right, so I have my 2 O's. My XO and my XO. And again, this is going to be so cute, like on a shelf, on a mantle, on a tier tray with some other things. Again, I'm using my printables to work on some different things to go with this set. But super cute, inspired by clearance Target ornaments. So again, I will put the pattern in with my print cut and craft bundle this month, so that you can see, you know, the exact size of the cardboard that I used, and I will put that in there for you. So all you have to do is just trace. You can print it out, cut it, and then put it on cardboard and just trace and cut it out again if you so choose. So again, there you go. Really, really fun project. It does not take a lot of time. It does not take a lot of know-how. It's really, really, really easy to be able to fix or to finish this little project. So, and it's going to go great with the cut, craft, and printables that I'm working on right now. So I'm really excited to see how it all fits together and how it all goes together really well. So again, if you see this, give me a hashtag replay so that I can kind of keep track of who's seen it and who has not seen it. And then also, please share the love. Share, sprinkle with, you know, all your friends, of anybody that you think that would enjoy this project. I would appreciate it so, so much. Hey, Christina, how are you? So, little inspiration from some clearance ornaments. Lots of fun, and you're gonna see my whole entire tiered tray finished with all of my print, cut, and craft artwork, and then also the fun little doodads that I'm gonna add to my tray. So have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Put them in the comments below. Again, I'm Brenda Mullard from Art on Creekside, and I hope that you will come and visit me again really, really soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.